It's funny. I never thought picking up the Urantia book would have me, out here exploring the cosmos, but, well, here we are, diving deep into Paper 49, the inhabited worlds, and, wow.
Really shifts things, doesn't it?
Talk about a whole new perspective on life.
Makes you wonder about everything you thought you knew, right? For me, it was that idea of a meticulously ordered cosmos. Just wow. The Urantia book doesn't mess around calling these planets training schools. Each one so carefully crafted,
It's fascinating.
nurturing the evolution of all these different life forms.
That's not the random, chaotic universe we imagine. Universal law guiding everything. It's intriguing.
Yeah.
A purposefulness, right, to how life unfolds, even on planets that are, well, who even knows how different from ours?
Absolutely. And speaking of different, let's talk about Earth. Our place in all this, right? We're Urantia.
Right.
The 606th inhabited world in Titania, our local system.
606.
That number always makes me stop and think there's a humbling vastness to that. What do you think?
Absolutely. Just throws our perspective wide open,
Yeah.
Thinking about how much came before us and how much is still unfolding.
Right.
But it's not just our place in the timeline, is it?
No, not at all.
The Urantia book calls Earth an experimental world.
It does.
So what is it about us? What sets us apart?
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. The text says our planet's got a unique history,
Cool.
even by cosmic standards. I mean, our original planetary prince, Caligastia, this being, decided to rebel against the established order.
Oh, wow.
Can you imagine
A rebellious planetary prince.
the ripple effect? A decision like that on a planetary scale.
No wonder things feel a little out of sorts down here sometimes.
Right, and it doesn't stop there.
Oh.
The text, it also says that Earth was supposed to have a different divine son,
Really?
not Michael of Nebadon. Almost like something unexpected happened, a cosmic plot twist, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Set us on a whole different path.
It's mind-boggling to think how those events, those interventions might have shaped everything, human history.
Right.
But let's dive into the different life the Urantia book talks about.
Okay.
We know about atmospheric breeders,
Right.
like us.
Right.
But the text mentions 6 other types.
It does.
Imagine the possibilities, right?
Yeah.
Sub-breathers, super breathers.
Yeah.
There are even beings that don't breathe at all.
It really is a departure
It is.
from how we picture extraterrestrial life,
Yeah.
We tend to think in familiar forms, like variations on ourselves.
Right.
But the Urantia book,
Yeah.
it pushes us
It does.
to think bigger beyond these earthly limits.
Those non-breathers especially got me thinking. Worlds with little to no air, like our moon.
Yeah.
What would life even look like? How would they, even interact with their world?
It sparks the imagination, doesn't it?
It really does.
To think a world like that could be so close.
Right here.
Our cosmic neighborhood.
Makes you look at the night sky differently, doesn't
It
it?
does. A whole new sense of wonder.
For sure. And for all the physical differences, there's this common thread,
Yeah.
a spiritual connection that goes beyond even the most extreme conditions. That's where the thought adjuster comes in, right?
Exactly. To me, that's one of the most amazing teachings in the Urantia book.
Right.
It says we aren't just physical beings stuck in our environments, but spiritual beings on a journey, growing, evolving.
It's like we all have a piece of the infinite inside us, a spark of the divine.
Yes.
But how does this thought adjuster even work in being so different from us?
Right.
Take those non-breathers. Do they experience this the same way we do?
Well, that's the beauty of it. The Urantia book sees how interconnected all life is. It embraces the uniqueness of each being's journey, even with the differences.
Yeah.
The thought adjuster, it's like a universal guide, adapting to each being's needs and what they're capable of.
Fascinating how it connects our physical bodies to our spiritual receptivity.
It
It
is.
says the number of glands we have, specifically the ones for imagination, can affect our capacity for spiritual experience.
It's true.
It's like we're hardwired for different types of growth.
And it makes you wonder
They'd,
if our physical bodies can influence our spiritual receptivity.
yeah.
What happens when those bodies are radically different?
Oh, wow.
Do they, with different structures, senses even, perceive the thought adjuster and the spiritual realms in ways we can't even grasp?
Now, those are questions worth pondering. Really makes you think beyond our limited human experience.
It does.
Embrace the diversity out there in the cosmos.
Absolutely.
Speaking of which, the Urantia book, it gets specific
Yeah.
about different brain type series, right?
It does.
Some beings have 1, 2, or even 3 brains.
3 brains.
3 brains.
It makes you think.
Can you imagine?
What we could do with just 2.
Right.
The Urantia book paints this picture, these 3 brain beings. They have this heightened capacity for both intellectual and spiritual things. It's like their advanced neurology gives them this deeper understanding, ethical principles, a connection to the spiritual realm. They progress faster,
Oh, wow.
towards advanced stages of evolution.
Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Here we are, just starting to understand our own minds, and there are beings, like, operating on a whole other level. But if these 3 brain beings are, I don't know, further along, does that make them, like, superior? Where do we even fit in this whole cosmic hierarchy?
That's the thing. The Urantia book, it introduces this concept of creature kinship serials.
Okay.
Basically like a family tree, but cosmic.
Right.
Grouping intelligent beings.
Right.
Based on, shared characteristics, evolutionary paths. And yeah, it acknowledges some are more advanced, but it really emphasizes it's not about being better or worse. We're all connected, part of this massive web of life, each with our own unique role to play.
I like that. It's kind of reassuring, we're all connected, this big cosmic family.
Right.
But who are these cosmic architects, right?
Yeah.
Shaping these paths. The Urantia book mentions life carriers.
Yes.
What can you tell us about them?
Okay, picture this. Cosmic gardeners. They seed planets' life.
Wow.
Nurturing it for, eons.
It's incredible.
That's the life carriers. Immense wisdom, right?
Yeah.
They choose what beings are best for each planet. They look at the conditions, all of it.
Makes you see our planet differently, all the diversity. The challenges, sure, but Earth is a testament to, wow, the creativity of these life carriers.
It really is.
But if they're so wise, why call some planets experimental? Doesn't that suggest, I don't know, unpredictability, maybe even risk?
You've hit on something. The Urantia book, it suggests, even with all that wisdom, the life carriers, they experiment. They see the value in diversity, exploring all these different evolutionary pathways. And, well, sometimes those experiments, they have unexpected outcomes.
Like a rebellious planetary prince and a divine sun swap.
Exactly.
Sounds like Earth got the cosmic wild card.
Maybe we did. But here's the thing. The Urantia book, it doesn't say these events are failures or setbacks. Oh.
It says they're all part of this larger plan.
Okay.
Opportunities.
Yeah.
For growth. For adaptation.
I see.
It's all part of it.
That's a good way to look at it. It's easy to get caught up in all the chaos of our world, lose sight of the bigger picture.
It happens.
But if it's right, even our mistakes, even our missteps,
yes,
it's all part of the dance.
Precisely. And that leads us to another big idea in the Urantia book. Physical death. It's not the end.
Right.
It's a transition to a whole other realm, the Urantia worlds.
Urantia worlds. It definitely makes you curious, maybe a little apprehensive. What are they like? How are they different from being here?
Okay, imagine a realm where your physical body, its limits, they're gone. And your mind, it's free to explore, to understand, to perceive on a whole new level.
That's the essence of the Urantia worlds.
Sounds like a place of, immense potential, a chance to keep learning, keep growing. But if it's about spiritual evolution, what determines our experience? Just you pick up where we left off here.
Okay, so this is where terrestrial escape comes in.
Okay.
It's how the Urantia book talks about moving from, our material existence to the Urantia life. And get this. It says there are multiple paths, techniques, they call them.
Fascinating.
That souls can take. And those paths, they're affected by our choices, our spiritual growth, even when we leave Earth.
So it's not like a cosmic waiting room.
No.
There's a whole system for spiritual advancement.
Exactly. There's this idea of a dispensational or group order of survival.
Okay.
Certain groups of souls are repersonalized. At specific times in planetary history.
So it's almost like a cosmic schedule.
It's wild, right?
A plan for moving souls to the next stage. What determines when these dispensational roll calls happen?
It's a great question. The Urantia book, it says they're often tied to the spiritual progress of a planet and guidance from those divine beings we were talking about. They seem to orchestrate these transitions, making sure souls get the experiences that, that help them grow.
So it's not random.
And entirely.
There's something bigger
Yeah.
guiding us towards our cosmic destiny, even after death.
That's the idea. And it brings a lot of people comfort. But don't worry, it's not just about waiting for these departures.
Okay.
The Urantia book talks about individual orders of ascension, too, meaning We can affect our own progress right here, right now.
So we have a say in this.
You got it.
Our destination, even how fast we move towards it. Wow, that's empowering.
It is. And the Urantia book, it gives us a kind of roadmap. It outlines 7 cosmic circles.
Okay.
They represent different levels of development. Intellectual, social, spiritual, all of it.
Like a cosmic curriculum.
Right.
The more we focus on our spiritual growth here, the more advanced our starting point is in the Urantia worlds.
It changes how you think about achieving your highest self, right? It's not just about this life. It's about preparing for something much bigger.
Wow. It's a lot, Thinking that we're shaping what happens after while we're here dealing with, well, everything life throws at us. Empowering, but kind of daunting.
I hear you. It really makes you rethink things, doesn't it? Life, death, makes you see your choices in a whole new light. But within all this, the cosmic circle's individual ascension, what gets me is it's compassionate. The Urantia book, I mean, especially for those whose journeys are cut short or who haven't, really thought about this paradise career thing.
Yeah, I bet that's a heavy question for a lot of people. What happens to those who didn't have a chance to, I don't know, engage with these ideas, or little ones whose time was cut short?
The Urantia book has this concept. I find it really comforting. Probationary dependent orders of ascension.
Okay.
It's like those who pass before choosing for or against this whole paradise path, they aren't judged. No one's stuck in limbo. They're guided, loved, really, by celestial beings in those probationary nurseries we talked about.
That is comforting. A kindness, like a safety net,
Yeah.
woven right into existence. Those souls, they get time to learn, to grow at their own pace, surrounded by care. But what about the opposite? Those who feel it strongly here on Earth. That pull towards spiritual growth, that yearning, any, shortcuts for the spiritually gifted.
Now, that's an interesting thought. The Urantia book, it gets into these more unusual spiritual transitions. It mentions this thing called sun seizure.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, where people who are really far along in their spiritual evolution, they can kind of bypass things, transition directly to the Urantia worlds, no physical death.
Sun seizure, that's a powerful term. What's it like according to the book?
It's not a harsh or scary thing, despite the name. It's actually really peaceful, joyful even, orchestrated by divine beings. These suns, they guide souls towards that paradise career. Imagine a soul gently lifted from its shell, embraced by light, carried into this higher realm.
Beautiful imagery.
Yeah.
The Urantia book really emphasizes that continuity, doesn't it, after death. So even with a direct transition, the sun seizure, you still end up in the Urantia worlds with everyone else. It's not about skipping the experience, right? More like aligning with what helps you grow.
Yes, exactly. The Urantia worlds, they're not a reward or punishment. It's a stage. Fundamental to spiritual evolution, we shed our limitations, our material existence, and become something beyond anything we understand down here.
It's a lot to take in. Life, death, this whole journey. Thought adjusters, cosmic circles, nurseries, even sun seizures. A lot to process, right?
It challenges us, that's for sure. But that's what I love about the Urantia book. It gets you thinking bigger, embracing the mystery.
It does. We've just scratched the surface, but one thing's clear. This is a completely different way to see life, death, our place in it all. We're part of something huge, all on our own paths, but connected by that spark of something divine inside each of us. It makes you want to live differently, see ourselves and the world with fresh eyes.
Beautifully put. And for everyone listening, as you explore the Urantia book more, think about this. If our bodies can influence our spiritual openness, what does that mean on a grand scale? Could all those life forms out there in the universe have just as diverse spiritual experiences? Keep those questions with you as you journey deeper into the mysteries